My name is Brad, and I am 44 years old, and I am a 5-year cancer survivor.
My name is Dina Williams, and I'm 38 years old.
I'm Paul Wilson. My wife and I, Mary Wilson, serve in the Philippines as missionary.
The day that I found out I had cancer, I was laying there in the hospital trying to process what the doctors had just told me, and my pastor walked through the door. I don't even know how he found out. I don't know if Sarah called him or who let him know, but he was there within the hour. He was there, and he walked in the door with his son, who is one of my best friends, and they just walked up beside my bed and they took a hold of my hand. And I remember my pastor, the first thing out of his mouth was, he said, "Brad, God never wastes our sorrow." And I just sat there and I thought about that, and I just felt impressed right then. What the Lord was telling me is, Brad, this is not about cancer. This is not about whether you live or die. This is about, can you trust me with every last detail of your life?
My dad was very interested in agriculture and farming, but he loved church work. We had an orchard, and often we custom cut hay. And it's interesting that sometimes on Wednesday night it'd be church time, and so the hay was there and it's ready to be baled, and a storm could be coming and rain on the hay to run it. But at a certain time, Dad knew it's church time, and God's in charge of the hay. I'm supposed to be at this church, and so he'd shut off the equipment and we'd go to church, no matter what would have to be done on the farm or the equipment, And it was that commitment of my parents and putting God first that impacted us.
Cancer has been like a secondary journey for me, and it's a big one and it's a hard one. But for me, it's been more of a private journey in my walk with the Lord, where I have I've grown because I didn't always trust God in my life. To that point in my life, I had all kinds of faith and all kinds of trust as long as things were going the way I wanted them to go. But as soon as the wheels fell off, then I was like, what was that, God? That wasn't supposed to happen.
Do you believe God is a giver or a taker? I realized that I was really struggling with that answer. I'm a very typical type A person. I feel like if I follow all the rules and do X, Y, and Z, then this will be the result. And I've come to realize that life's not a tidy little package like that.
When I was a youngster, my dad was in a horrible car accident. He wasn't expected to live, and he was abruptly, from being the earner, the farmer, he became basically handicapped. He gradually could drive and do things, but it totally changed his life. And I think if God hadn't allowed that to happen to my dad, I'd probably stayed on a farm and stayed down the mountains. But, God even uses horrible tragedies to steer and change your life. But as a child, that was very difficult when, we had to sell our farm. And middle of my high school year, moved from a little farm, go to Oklahoma City, Edmond, major city, and but if God hadn't probably allowed that to happen, I might have never made it to college in the Philippines. And so you see, even through the bad, that God does lots of good.
As many people as have prayed for me and prayed that I would get well, and I have never one time prayed for God to heal me from cancer. Not one time. And it's not like I'm trying to prove something. It's just I know that for me, this is not about being healed from cancer. This is about God asking me, Brad, do you trust me with your life? Do you trust me? Even if I take your life, do you trust me? If I restore your health and give you another 20 years, do you trust me? That has been my prayer through this whole thing, is God, whether in life or in death, I want to trust you every day.
You have to trust that God can use whatever he has brought you through, or what he has coming in front of you. You've got to trust that God can, if he's bringing you to it, he will bring you through it. And your journey is not your own. Your journey is so that you can share with others, so that you can help others that are faltering on the way, and continue to trust that God is a giver.